And for more on this, let's speak to Associate Professor Dr. Robert Kelly, and he's from Busan National University's Department of Political Science and Diplomacy. Joins us from the city of Busan. Professor Kelly, thanks for joining me. But first up, let's look at this execution. It's been said that it's a difference of opinion. That happens all the time. So why the execution? In fact, 50 of them last year. Does it show some sort of lack of trust in Kim's administration? And this case seems to be specifically targeted at the military.
Sure, yeah. There are two major pillars to the regime in North Korea. One is the party, the Korean Workers' Party, the Communist Party. The other is the military, the Korean People's Army, the KPA. And the current Kim leader, the Kim III, Kim Jong-un, did not go through either of those grooming institutions from which come most of North Korea's elites. So we think, we don't really know, of course, but we think that Kim Jong-un is very concerned about whether or not people, particularly in the military, since they have the weapons, support him, feel close to him, and so on. His father, Kim Jong-un's father, and his grandfather were much closer to the army, in part because they'd helped build it, they'd gone through it, they knew about it. The current Kim doesn't have any real experience there at all, and so a lot of people think that, yes, this is a power consolidation, that he's moving people around, he's moving out people he thinks that are not loyal to him, and he's putting in flunkies and so on. That's what we believe.
Okay, but how much of it does geopolitics actually have a play in, all this entire development that has happened so far?
Sure. Actually, this is a little bit scary because for the North Koreans, of course, because, replacing generals who are your friends or who are maybe good at their job with your friends doesn't actually improve North Korean security, right? I mean, the Soviet Union had this problem in World War II. Stalin purged all the good officers in the run-up to World War II and replaced them with flunkies and friends and associates and stuff like that, and then the Soviets fared very badly in World War II. So if I were the North Koreans, actually, this is a strategic vulnerability, right? There's no real benefit to doing this externally. This is really about regime consolidation at home. One of the big traditional threats to the rule of the Kims, we think, again, is a military coup, a military upsurge or something like that. That hasn't happened, but that's probably what this is.
All right. Well, you mentioned that, getting rid of the top officials, obviously there's creating some sort of unease among the rest of those who are staying. Do you think it will affect his leadership in any form or fashion?
Yeah, actually, I do. I'm actually kind of surprised that these purges have cut as deep as they have. I mean, this is actually pretty risky. Like I said in the answer to your first question, Kim Jong-un's roots in the military aren't really very deep. So he's kind of walking a dangerous line here, right? And if he keeps on eliminating and moving out people who've been in the military, in some cases for decades, right? You don't climb to the top of the KPA unless you haven't been there for a long time. You're moving these people out, and they have a lot of friends. They know a lot of people. I mean, if he keeps doing this at the pace he's doing it, I would be surprised there wouldn't be some kind of pushback, right? He might have himself in sort of like a vicious circle where he's now actually afraid of a pushback, so he has to keep cutting and cutting and cutting. And that's actually a pretty dangerous position that neither his father nor his grandfather ever faced.
All right, thank you very much for your insights and analysis, Professor Dr. Robert Kelly from Busan National University.